Hey, it's Fritzylvania. Thanks again for tuning in. This is going to be my first video on testing my Wild and Blood deck against the AI to make sure we have everything in order as far as resources and resource curve goes. We'll go ahead and select our Wild Blood deck from the list here and set up the challenge. Looks like I'll be going up against a Dimid AI opponent, a Life Drain champion. Looks like in our hand I have a lot of what I want. I've got a Howling Brave, I've got a Wild Root Dancer. Allow me to ramp a little bit. I'm kind of iffy about this hand, but I think it's a pretty good hand to keep, so we've got 3 resources. Curse to go ahead and get into their hand right away. I'm going to go ahead and keep this hand. The opponent starts out with an Adamanthian Scrivener, which is a 1/1, allows them to gain health each time it or another troop comes into play under their control. Our draw is a Honeycap. We saw later in the game once we get some Wild Threshold. In the meantime, we'll start off with a Wild Shard and play our Howling Brave, which will increase our threshold to 2. Give us another way to access resources and pass our turn. Fully expecting, as there's a bug, for Dimid to, as soon as he plays the second resource here, use his Life Drain ability on one of his cards and probably not even swing for damage. He's playing a Living Totem, the 2/2, but for 3 resources can put any slew of keywords or buffs on his totem there. Yep, there goes the Life Drain, and he put it on the creature that can't attack this turn. Or troop, I should say. He'll attack with the 1/1. We'll let that go through because we don't want to lose our resource ramp card with our Howling Brave. And it should be our turn. There's our big 6/6 Fist of Brigadon. I'm going to go ahead and play my Blood Shard and get my 1 health back. Our Gozog Champion, I guess I should have talked about in the deck tech video, gives us 1 health and deals 1 damage to target champion for 2 champion charges. We're going to get our 1 health back there. I'll go ahead and exhaust my Howling Brave to get my 1 temporary resource, which will give us 3 access, and go ahead and get inside their deck and see what they have. Living Totems, Inner Conflicts, Citizenry, Diamond Auras, Righteous Paladins. I think at this point in time, I think the Inner Conflict is going to be the best card. Take out this time around, because it will stymie both our Fist of Brigadon as well as our Brute when he comes out. So I want to go ahead and take that one out of his deck. There's all 4 copies. They're actually in his Void Zone. If we look up, actually removed from play, graveyard. And now we will be susceptible to at least 3 damage next turn, because we still have we only have the 1 troop out there, and it's exhausted because we used it for a resource. So And this is another thing I don't like about how the Living Totem works. It doesn't tell you what they chose with their resources. You're going to have to guess. I'm going to go with Flight. Yep, there it goes. So they exhausted all 3 of the resources. And swinging for 3 damage. That will go through. That's okay with me. And we are sitting on Extinction if things get a little too heated. What do we draw this time around? We draw another Wild Shard. That gives us 3, technically 4. I guess I did that incorrectly. I should have played the Wild Root Dancer first. Then I can attack with the Howling Brave. I always put a 3/3 Honey Cap out. I don't want to lose the Honey Cap. Or any of that to Extinction. I'm going to go ahead and put the Wild Root Dancer out. I'm going to end up losing it to Extinction later on. That's why we have 4 copies of it. We'll go ahead and get R1 damage in. Now with the 2/2 flying, we'll end up taking 2 on the chin next turn at least. Unless it gives it the +1/+1 ability, then it'll be 3 on the chin. It gave it Swift Strike, held by the symbol there, meaning its damage will resolve in battle before anybody else's does. So meaning if I were, even though it's flying, if I were able to block with the Wild Root Dancer, its 2 damage would actually take off the 2 toughness of the Wild Root Dancer and kill it before I can deal the 2 damage back. So we put in the Life Link, which is a good, or Life Drain, which is a good play there. So he'll swing there. Why he swung with the Scrimmer, I don't know, because we're going to take that out of play. He'll get 2 on me and take 2 back. We will have our turn now. Another Wild Root Dancer. This will be fun. Because I like to use the Howling Brave as a mana resource, or shard resource I should say. We're not going to buff the Howling Brave, we're going to buff each of the Wild Root Dancers. This one's going to buff that one. And that one's going to buff this one. And now Extinction is not really going to be a card we want to play. And now we'll definitely win the race here. Next resource we draw. I'll go ahead and use my champion power as well now that we have 2 more champion charges. Next resource we draw, we'll have technically 6 with the Howling Brave. And we can get our Fist of Brigadon out there. And then should be in great shape. Without the Inner Conflict in their deck, the only thing I really have to worry about now is the Living Totem getting too large. They put Life Drain on it. And put another Living Totem out. So they have a 2/2 Living Totem with Swift Strike, Light, and Life Drain. And now 2/2 Living Totem, which really can't do anything against our 4/4s. That Life Drain kind of makes it a little bit slower for us to take out the opponent, but we're hoping to draw Murder here shortly. Remember, we had 4 of those in the deck. We're at 14, they're at 18. Still not too upset by the speed of the deck. Granted, we haven't had a Chlorophylla yet. There's our Murder we were looking for. Problem is, we don't have our second blood threshold to be able to play the Murder. Same thing with the Extinction. We're kind of stuck here. I think I'm going to go ahead and just play the Honey Cap as a 4/4. Start dealing some serious damage. We won't swing the Howling Brave because we don't want to lose the resource to the Living Totem, so. At best, we get 8 through. At worst, we get 4 through, as they'll block and get their other living totem off the board. They're not blocking. Down to 10. Last turn, they're going to give that living totem flight. Well as Swift Strike. And now he's going to put his champion power to give it life drain. So they're taking 4 back now, so it's going to be a race. I really need to speed up this process here. I really need a blood threshold so I can at least murder one of them off the board. He did not attack. Surprising. Leave them to block, it appears. Another Howling Brave will allow me to play my Fist of Brigid next turn. In the meantime, we may be taking their living totems off the board just for sheer blocking. They're going to have to do here in a second. They can only do 4 damage. At most, they can do 6 damage if they put the +1/+1 on each of them. Then we'll go ahead and swing 12 at him and force him to block because he can't take 12. Did not block. Game over. This is the only bad thing about playing this deck against the AI is sometimes they make some silly mistakes like that. Which is why we'll play it to determine if our deck is flowing properly and not whether it's a good challenging deck. That's it for the first video, testing this deck, and tune in for the second one here shortly.